Spam chat when you come over to YouTube. Ooh, am I streaming to the right account? Maybe, maybe. Here's the link. I may not be streaming to the right account. Um, do I exist? Oh, I do exist. Stream's offline. Here's the link. Might try this. I may not be streaming to the right account. Spam chat, let me know that you're in there. Do I exist? Oh, I do exist.
Oh, double speak.
Stream's
Sorry, one
offline.
sec.
Here's the link.
Might try this.
I may not be streaming today. I'm just going to check. Yep, okay. Audio's coming in. Cool, we're good. Alright, come on over. Hopefully you're here now. How many views is there currently? I can't see that. Yeah, there we go, 13. 13 of the 19 are here. 14, we're cruising, people slowly coming in. So there is a bit of a delay on YouTube. There's like a 10-second, maybe a wee bit more, 15-second delay. So I'll be a wee bit behind on answering any questions. Apologies. Alright, let me get the syllabus up so I can see what's going on. Alright, so for those who are completely new to Ableton, this is it here. It's, you know, fundamentally the same as any other DAW, except for kind of this page here. You're all used to probably seeing something that more looks like this. Just quickly, a quick note, but I will repeat it in the future. The tab key will switch between those two. So, but for predominantly, for the performance at least anyway, and for most of, well, all of the classes pretty much, we will be living on this page. So for those who have used Ableton before, don't come here. Stay here. Trust me, just stay here. I know a lot of you will still just by, you know, habit, come back over here, but don't. Stay here. It'll definitely help you with number one, the assessment, and number two, just the future. So that's good. So the normal things are kind of up the top. This is our transport control. We have our time, we can see here, ticking through in bars, beats, and what? 16th notes? We got play, stop, record. We've got some other things here. We'll talk about those here. But I mean, if you know DAWs, there goes our punch in, punch out settings. If we look over here is our tempo. We can adjust the tempo by holding our mouse button down and dragging up, dragging down. Or if we click it, note, it changes to a different color, to light gray. And then we can just type in 120 BPM. We've got our time signature here. And then this little button here with the black and white dots is our metronome. So I turn it off. Can't hear the metronome. Turn it on. We'll hear the metronome. Cool. And the center is where all of our tracks will go. So we can see there's, by default, there should be 2 MIDI tracks and 2 audio tracks. On the far right here is our send or our returns. And then the very last one is our master track. So everything gets summed to that one and then comes to our headphones. All the kind of normal things. On the far left is our library. So this is where our effects are, where our samples are, where any of our virtual instruments are. Everything is kind of contained over here. We can also add on folders, if you've got any external samples or anything like that. Does Computer Platform matter for Ableton? Nah, either or. It works on both and they both are exactly the same. So then down the bottom here is where we will see, once we have it, we will see virtual instruments and all the parameters for those virtual instruments. We'll see effects and all the parameters for those effects. And we will also see the waveform when we look at warping and a whole heap of other things. I will see our waveform and also our MIDI sequencing when we start sequencing drums or instruments. We'll see all of that happening down here. This is kind of a multi-station of stuff. Then the last little box to know about is this one here. This is the info view. So this one will just tell you, if you ever forget what a button does or want to know what a button does, you can hover over it like this one here and notice down the bottom left in the info view it says metronome. Click here to activate the metronome, to adjust the metronome's volume, use the preview, blah 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 blah. So if you ever get lost or want to know what something is, just hover your mouse over it and read this area here. Handy thing to have. So when it comes to the tracks down here, forget the MIDI tracks for now, we'll talk about that soon, but look at the audio tracks. We can see this is our volume control here and here. We have panning here, left and right, and we have channel mutes for it as well. And when we get into recording and stuff, we can also and also solo. So great, all the normal things that you would normally see in a DAW. Now note, these two volumes currently aren't back on 0 dB, and if you want to quickly return any dial to its default parameter, just double click the dial, sorry, and it'll return to its original position. So same with the pan there, just double click it, it'll return back to center. Sick. So that is fundamentally the interface. We will go into it more, but for now, let's just stay with that. That's enough. So, just to kind of get an understanding of the good thing about this program and the reason why I got it back in 2001, I'm going to go into samples. I'm going to open this section up here. And this one is kind of our categories. And then this one will show what's inside those categories. So I'm going to click on samples. And then we see all the built-in samples that are within the Ableton library. Mail to myself. Mail to my email. Belinda, you write really cryptic stuff. I never know what you're talking about. There's heaps of different sounds in here. If we click once, you'll hear a preview of it. There's lots of different things. Great. But for now, I want to kind of find loops. And the easiest way to find a loop within the sample library is to search for it up here. And the easiest way to search for it is by writing BPM, beats per minute. Because I'm going to assume if the file name has a BPM, that means it needs that BPM because it's a loop. You need to know that BPM because it's a loop. And then if I click on some of these, we should start to hear samples. Great. Sure. Let's go with that one. So, I want to bring this in. And the way we do this is by just dragging it in on an audio track. Now, if, say, we didn't have an audio track, let me just delete the audio track. You can drag it into this blank area here, over here as well, and it'll create an audio track for it. So I have this beat here. So you naturally think, let's push play and let's have a listen. I'm currently downloading Ableton at the moment. It has quite a while until it's completed. We don't need to be in Ableton right now, do we? No, it's all good. We will get, you'll just have to catch up, Lachlan. These loops, crazy. Cool. So you naturally think we push play and we would hear it. But instead we only hear the metronome. And this is because if you notice this clip, this breakbeat clav sample that I dragged in, it's got its own play here. So the way this kind of works is we have this master clock, master play that plays, but the clips can be played whenever you want them kind of to be. Whenever you want them to happen. And the good thing is, when we push play, it is quantized. So it will always come in on a 1. Now we can change that, but for now, let's just stick with the 1. So we've got this global timing of 1 bar. So if we listen to the metronome, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I push play, 3, 4. And notice it came in on the 1. Even though I clicked it on a 2, it comes in on the 1. So we'll try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I click, 3, 4, bam. I'm just going to turn off the arm for a second. So it also happens, note that all the blank clip slots, there's heaps of different blank clip slots on this track, and note all of those, because they don't have a clip on them, now have a stop symbol. So not only does it play on a 1, like so, 2, 3, 4, 1, blinking, 3, 4, play. It'll also stop on a 1 when you need it to. 1, 2, start. Now. So this is really good for like timing. So, if you think about it, we could send this click to, I don't know, some musicians. And then when we need to, we can drop the beats for them at the appropriate time. So, it takes a wee bit of time to just kind of understand this global quantization thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break there, and then what I want you to do back over in class once we finish here is I want you to kind of go through and start finding some samples that you could maybe shove together, and then start putting them in on different tracks. We can create some new tracks, like I said, by dragging into the new slot, and hit play and get used to how this fires. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, that's the same sample. Oops. So let's do that again. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's add this one. And just start getting used to this global timing. As you do this, also start looking at what you can do with scenes. So currently, if you notice, we're all on the same line. I'm just going to stop all of these clips. So notice all of these are on the same line, or what's known as a scene. So what we can do is actually fire all 3 of them at the same time by hitting this button, meow. So it means if I fire this one, because there's nothing on this one, it'll stop all of those clips. 2, 3, 4, stop. 2, 3, 4, play. 2, 3, 4. So go through and start thinking, okay, what could I do with this? Maybe I'm gonna start to move these down. I'm gonna grab this one, go copy, so Control C or Command C on Mac. Click on this one, go Command V for paste, or Control C on V on PC. So now we can fire this scene, which is the breakbeat on its own. and then we fire everything together. But then we can go back and go back into it. So let's take, I don't know, 15 minutes or so back in class to kind of start dragging in loops and just having a mess around and getting used to how this fires. There's this natural feeling inside of people that they want to fire it on the one. And the problem is that if you go to do that, you may push it after the one, which means it'll come around in the next bar. So it's kind of getting used to this in your head. Okay, I need to fire it before the end of the bar and not on the end of the bar. I mean, at the beginning of the bar. Does that make sense? I hope so. I'll see you back in class. In class to kind of start dragging in loops and just having a mess around and getting used to how this fires. There's this natural feeling inside of people that they want to fire it on the one. And the problem is that if you go to do that, you may push it after the one, which means it'll come around in the next bar. So it's kind of getting used to this in your head. Okay, I need to fire it before the end of the bar and not on the end of the bar. I mean, at the beginning of the bar. Does that make sense?